Okay, most of us are used to using Blackboard, the old version, but there's been so many changes in Blackboard 9 that I think it's best if we take a look at how these changes affect us and how we're going to move around these changes and make things work the way we like making things work. Unfortunately, for most of us who have used Digital Dropbox, there is no longer Digital Dropbox, but there's better ways of handling things, as you'll see. And so if we are a little bit patient, we'll find out how those things work. First of all, course tools, when you go here, there's a number of different things, but if you go under course tools under control panel, if we go to announcements, we're used to control paneling allowing us to control things. Does it allow us to control things? Can we add or delete announcements? No, we can't. So one of the things that you're going to have to be aware of is one little thing up here, edit mode. Edit mode is where you can actually start making changes. If edit mode is off, which it is now, you cannot add announcements, delete announcements, do anything. So what we have to do is actually click on this and change edit mode, and it'll take a few seconds to go into on mode. And at this point we can indeed make changes, and we make changes by clicking on here. We can edit this, we can delete it. Those are the two basic functions. We can go in and we can make changes to what's going on here, and now we're getting into the same sort of thing as we've seen before in the past. It's just a little different way of getting at things. So, and there's a few extra little options like duration, permanent, date restricted. It's a little different, but basically it allows us at the same functionality as we've had in the past. We just have to think a little differently. Now I'm going to cancel out of this. So this is one of the many things, but the most important thing that I can mention here is edit mode on to make changes. Now, we were talking about announcements. Let's take a look at assignments, because as I said, there is no digital Dropbox, but if we go to assignments, you can actually set up something that's even better. One of the things you'll find is that you have to have under assignments, you can create assignments and so forth. Strangely enough, you do it under the evaluate section. Under the evaluate section is where you can actually create tests, create surveys, create assignments, and so forth. So if we want to create an assignment, we just click here, and this is typically what you're going to do to have people submit things like the digital Dropbox. So I'm just going to create one here called test, and you can change your colors. I'm not sure where all this is all that useful. I'm going to try doing that, and let's go down here and say apply, and I'm not and let's just say this is a test, you know, the basic stuff. You can play around with this yourself as you go through, and you can actually attach files so that students can get files, print them out, do things, and so forth, or you can just make an assignment available. So some of the things that you're going to see here, let me just bring up my magnifying glass here, is make assignment available, allow single attempt, allow unlimited attempts, or limit the number of attempts to a certain number. And this becomes handy because for instance, first semester students, you might want to give them unlimited attempts and just say, okay, I'll mark the last one, and just do things like this. And this is kind of a very useful thing. But if we take a look down here, this is kind of a neat feature, display after. This is the limit availability thing that's here. Basically says that you're going to have it displayed for a certain length of time. We're going to start displaying the assignment, and you're going to start at this point, and then you're going to display until this date, but they can still, it's a little different than what's next, which is now if we slide down here, the due date and so forth for the assignment is a little different. So in this case, you can display the assignment for between these dates, but this is the last date that they can actually hand it in. So that's what the difference is here. Now the nice thing is it comes up with a nice little calendar here. Now it's July 9th today. So let's just say display after. Let's put in July 8th, and you can even select a time of day, 2:30 in the morning. Well, I don't think we want to be quite that early. Say 1:30 in the afternoon, and display. And if we don't click on this, it's just going to be constant display. So we'll just click on this and display until. And let's just say that we want to give them up until the following Wednesday and 2:30 p.m. or whatever time we want. Now that's just when the assignment is going to be displayed. The due date is a little different. You can actually have the due date if you want to have this displayed until say the 15th. We can make the due date say the 14th if we want in a certain time, as long as we tell them that that's in class or give an announcement as to when the actual due date is, and there we go. Now if we submit this and put it in, one of the things that you're going to have to make sure that you have going is the grade center enabled. And so let's take a look at that. So if we go down here under, let's see, under evaluation. So if we click on evaluation, we need to have the grade center coming up here. If you don't have the grade center showing up under evaluation, you have to go to customization, tool availability, and under tool availability, make sure that grade center has got a check mark here, because if grade center is not checked, you won't be able to handle your assignments. Even if you decide not to use the grade center, because I don't use it, you still need to have that checked and available. So one of the things that we can do then is, once you've got your assignment and so forth set up, you can go to the grade center, you can go over here, and let's take a look and see if we've got that evaluation. That's loading and doing all this kind of stuff here. And let's slide down and slide this all the way over, and let's see, there's our test. Now under test, and this is really cool, if you click this down, this is the one that I love. This is called assignment file download. Now if we go to that, one of the things you're going to find, which is really cool, now these are not available because we just created it, there's no assignments in here, but you can select individually when these become available which ones you want, or just click here to have all of them, and then it allows you to put all of these in a particular folder. Not like digital Dropbox where you had to grab each one individually and do something with it, and you had stuff that was, maybe you had assignment 1, 2, and 3. 3 is next week that it's due, 2 is due this week, but people could be handing in 1, 2, and 3 and putting them all in the same thing. This makes sure that you have just the assignments that you want submitted at the right time and allow you to mark them. So this allows you to deal with them as a group. There's another way if you want to actually deal with it student by student and use the mark book. I'm not going to go through that. You can learn about that on yourself, because I only have 10 minutes to do all this and get it up on YouTube, because YouTube has a 10-minute thing. So one of the other things, which I'm just going to cancel out of this, one of the other things beside the edit mode, which is very, very important, is to make sure that you understand how to get your course list started. And strangely enough, and I don't know why they did this, but if we take a look here where it says work offline, who would have thought? But if you click on this, this is when you can upload and download your gradebook. So if we want to download, then it's going to bring up our gradebook and allow us to download it, and select full grade center is typical that you want to do, and you can select various other things if you want. But and your delimiters, this is stuff that you should be somewhat familiar with. So this has been a quick run through of this, and these are some of the basic things that you need to get started. A couple other things just to go back down here. Tool availability is, we've looked at that under customization. Packages and utilities, because course copy, this is one of the ones that most people like using here. Course copy is still available, but it's under packages and utilities, and you can copy existing courses into the courses that you're doing. Now for most people that use Blackboard, these are probably the most common things that you need to know, and there's probably some other things that you may need to know later, but this is just an introductory video to show you the basics of how to get started with this brand new Blackboard that we all have to somehow deal with. Hopefully this has been of some use to you, and if you have some suggestions or comments as to what other things you'd like me to take you through with this, that would be fun.